On this episode of Purposely Curious, I sit down with my dear friend Elizabeth Perez, a thyroid cancer survivor. She shares her incredible journey through her diagnosis, treatment, and what she and her loved ones have learned from this diagnosis and how it solidified their love for each other. I may have gotten teary, but I'm so happy she has shared her story with us. So get nice and cozy as this episode starts now. Oh, and if you're a crybaby like myself, please get some tissue. Hello, everyone. On today's episode, I have my friend that I went to high school with, Liz Perez. Say hi.
Hello.
And I wanted to have her on because one, she's an amazing, amazing person. But two, I know I'm going to talk you up right now, but she shared with me something that was personal. I had seen, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was a story that you posted with your mom. And I think you were getting a tattoo. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And, you know, we went to high school together, all girls high school. We got along, but we weren't necessarily like close, right? But we just kind of stayed through social media. So we were like homies on social media. And I commented to her like, wow, that's amazing. Like my mom would never do that. And she shared and, you know, opened up about why she was doing it. And, you know, basically you let me know that you went through a cancer diagnosis. And, you know, the more I saw her after she filled me in on this, you know, that's such a lovely story. To be getting a tattoo, to be surviving that diagnosis, and then to have your mom, who potentially could have been like my mom, was like anti-tattoos, getting one.
Extremely. She's like super old school, like, no, what are we doing? Like, I'm old now, or like, you know, Spanish. Yes, soy vieja para andar con esas cosas. Like, she was super against it.
Yes. So, and the reason I have her on is because, you know, she shared this and confided in me that the reason why she was doing it is because she had gone through this cancer diagnosis and had survived it. You know, she's gone through this journey. Then, you know, as the months passed and I kept looking at her stories, and you were a badass bitch. You're just fucking working out. I mean, an inspiration. And every time I would be like, damn, this bitch has been through a lot, like, you know, but look at her, you know what I mean? She's out there, she's hustling, she's working out. And I've always kind of wanted to ask you, and I would forget. And so, you know, finally asked if you would be open to talk about your journey. And so you agreed, and thank you so much. It's a privilege to have you.
Yeah, well, I told you it's a privilege. Like, I feel honored that you even asked me, because I feel like it's a topic that I try to stay away from. It's just, I feel like I've never actually dealt with it. So I feel like everything works in mysterious ways, because I feel like you approached me at the perfect time. It's always been a struggle for me to talk about it, because I always feel like I always try to be on the positive side of things. I don't ever like to talk about refer to negative things. So I feel like when you send me a message, I was super excited. I was like, you know what? Boom, it's time. Let's talk about it. Let's just put it all out there and go from there. And so thank you, Mary. I really appreciate it. And also, your podcasts are awesome. So I feel like, you know, it's a good way to just kind of put it out there, and hopefully somebody will get something out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because none of us know what we're all going through. And so I hope that this touches people, you know, whether it's them going through a journey or a loved one, which, you know, cancer sucks. And, you know, it's one of those things that we all fear, but it's very common. You know, it hits us, it hits most people in their lifetime, whether, you know, through family, friends, coworkers, you know, someone who goes to school with our kids, or, you know, so I thought it would be nice to go through what you went through. So when did you find out?
So I think I can't even specifically give you dates, because I feel like I've tried to like kind of like
suppress.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, I had cancer. Okay, so what's next? I think it was about 6 years ago, right? 7 years ago. I went bungee jumping, right? Because why not? So I went bungee jumping, and a few days after, I was putting up my hair in a ponytail, and I saw there was a lump on my throat. And I said, you know what? I said, maybe I hurt my vocal cords, because Soy bien gritona. Like I yell really loud. So I'm like, I definitely heard my vocal cords. So when I went to the doctor, she was like, oh, it just appears like they're nodules. Like you should be fine. At that point, I had just turned 31. So I was young, right? So the last thing I ever thought of was cancer. So then,
now let me stop you there. When you say lumps, like where you know how we have the trachea here?
Yeah.
Where was the lump located?
Right, like right in the middle. Like it was super centered.
Like where your trach is?
Right
okay.
there. Right. And it wasn't like, I didn't have any symptoms because people always ask me, so what did you feel? Were you tired? Was it hyper? I was like, no. I said, I've never had any. I didn't even know what a thyroid was. When they told me, I was like, what is the thyroid? Do I need it?
Yeah.
Do I need it to eat, drink? I mean, do I need it to survive? I had no idea what it was. And it's crazy because you think I'm 31. I should know what this is, right? But I had no clue. So I went, they did an ultrasound and they're like, hey, we're going to refer you to a specialist. No, we're going to do a biopsy. I'm sorry. Right. So I went, did the biopsy. They had me sign off a waiver and the endocrinologist said, hey, I can't tell you specifically what it is, but because I've been doing this for so many years, I think it's something called papillary cancer of the thyroid. After he said that, I didn't hear anything else. I heard cancer and I'm like, I'm 31 and I have cancer. Like, what's going to happen? So my first question was, what's the next step? He said, well, we're going to send you to the specialist, right? So they sent me to the specialist. He talked about it and he said, well, we won't know what it is until we remove it. So I asked, if you don't remove it, what happens? So he said, well, you kind of take your chances. So he said, what do you think we should do? And I said, well, take it out and let me know what it is. And that's how everything started. But throughout the process, I did not tell my mother because my mom stresses out. So I went through it.
Alone, essentially?
Alone. Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, Mary. Like, I'm extremely blessed. I have the best people in my life. Like, my family and my friends, even the ones that are no longer my friends or were just there for that period of time. I was blessed. They always had my back. Always had a lot of questions. My college friends, my high school friends. Well, not people that I went to high school with, but people that I knew when I was in high school. My siblings, my brother, so I always had that support system where I never felt alone. Yeah. But I'm not going to lie to you. Like, you're going through it alone because you're the one that's dealing with it. So I just said, okay, just remove it. And after they removed it, the doctor said, hey, we're going to have to do radiation because it's beginning to attack your blood vessels.
So when they did the biopsy, they found that indeed it was cancer.
Yes. And it was 4 centimeters in the middle of my neck. So they removed the whole thyroid. So he was like, we literally caught it on time because if not, it was spreading quickly. Right. And you never think it's going to happen to you. Cause I was like 31, right?
Yeah.
Living my best life. Like we say it, right? So I just decided to take a positive approach. I said, okay, so what's next? And so then we did radiation. And then, here I am now. I don't know. I still have a lot of I still go to the doctor very often. And, but honestly, I feel like this is if it makes any sense, the worst best case scenario.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes sense. This is probably the worst thing that could have happened to me, but the best thing that came out of it, because I feel like I really started getting into fitness. I started appreciating life more. I started learning more about myself. You don't know how strong you are until you go through something like that.
Yeah.
And it was hard, but I feel like I feel like I still have a lot more to learn, a lot more to do, because I feel like it's a learning experience and I'm evolving as a person, you know?
So now you have this diagnosis and they start radiation. So you decide is this the time to tell my family, or you still kept it to yourself?
No, I actually told my mom probably a week before I had surgery.
Oh, wow.
So I went through I had told some of the people that were close to me, but I didn't tell everybody. My mom was literally the last one because I knew she was going to have a hard time and I knew she was going to struggle.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel the one that struggled with it the most was my brother. I think he had a really hard time because
and he's younger, you said, right? Yeah.
So my brother's 30 years old. So he was in his early 20s and he has a daughter and he just became a dad, and he was like, what's going to happen? This cannot happen to you and everything. And I told him, hey, you can't tell mom. Like, we need to figure this out where it's just us, and then I'll just wait until tell mom. And he's supportive. I'm very lucky. He's a good sibling. He's a good brother. So I literally, like, maybe a week, Mary, or a week and a half prior to the surgery, and my mom was like very upset at me. She was like, I am your mother. She was like, you don't know because you don't have kids. I cannot believe you went through this and didn't say anything to me. She was like, this is devastating. But I mean, I just felt like that's what I needed to do to protect myself and protect my family. And I feel like she didn't understand that at that time.
Yeah. You were going through a lot. And I think I'm not a mother. I have no kids, but I think I'm picturing my mom.
Yeah.
I think I think maybe your mom was trying to see, she wanted to be there to protect you, to hold you through it.
Yeah.
And you were seeing it like, I don't want her to worry. You know, so it's almost like you guys were trying to protect each other.
Right? Isn't it crazy? Yeah.
Well, at least that's what it seems like to me.
No, absolutely. Because my mom tells me all the time, which is a saying in Spanish. She says, tú no sabes el dolor de una madre. You don't know the type of pain. Like,
the hurt a mother feels.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're right. I don't. And she's like, because you don't have kids, Liz. She was like, and my mom and I, well, Mary, you remember my mom, right? From high school. Mm-hmm. My mom and I are very tight. Like, we're super close. Right. So it was a struggle for me not to tell her, but I knew that this was the right thing for me to do at that precise moment in time. And I still feel like she kind of like, she told me one time, she's like, I don't trust you because I feel like you're not being honest with me when it comes to that. Right. Which she's right, because I still have things that I deal with as far as the whole cancer situation that I don't like to tell her or address with her, because I'm like, if it's something minor, let me just deal with it. And if it becomes anything else, then I'll just go ahead and talk to her about it. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I love her for it. I mean, because she's protective of me. I'm her only daughter. So I guess we could say I'm her favorite daughter. Right? I mean, so
yeah,
I guess I understand now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then you started radiation. Did it really change your physical well-being at that point? Everyone's different. As you know, I'm a hospice nurse. So
yes,
for some people, it really makes them feel down. Other people feel, okay, but they feel down. Did it really make you feel like shit, essentially, or when you started it?
I swear to you, it was like I was hungover for 7 days. I was throwing up. I couldn't hold anything down. And then when you do radiation, you have to be isolated. So I really couldn't have anybody with me at that time. My mom couldn't visit me. My brother couldn't visit me. I couldn't really even walk outside. I had to wear gloves.
Wow.
Yeah. But then prior to that, you have to be on a strict diet.
Mm-hmm. What diet was that?
It's a low iodine diet. So what happens is, if I remember correctly, because it happened a few years back, maybe like 5-6 years ago, the way the doctor explained it to me is cancerous cells or cancerous cells feed off of iodine. So when they strip you off of iodine and they give you the radiation, the cancerous cells are going to go and really go to the radiation, the iodine or the radiation, because they're lacking it. And that's how the radiation kills the cancerous cells. So I was on a diet, I think maybe 6 weeks. I can't remember. And I lost about 10 pounds and I was miserable. I was crying every day, Mary. Oh, wow. Every day, because.
And this is before you started radiation.
Yes. Wow. And then so radiation was one pill. It was a strong pill. So they kind of literally bring it out. It's like, it looks like a capsule. It's a big capsule. They pull the capsule out of the refrigerator. They open it up and it's a little pill and they give it to you. I want to say the guy was like wearing like one of those suits.
Yeah. Like radiation type.
So he gives it to me. I grab it in my hand and put it in my mouth and pretty much, here's the water. Be on your merry way. I get in the car, get home, and literally about an hour, 2 hours later, it was a wrap. I was throwing up. It was like if you're hungover, right?
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, if this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. But the doctor said, I said, if this doesn't work, what's the next step? And he said, don't worry about it. We'll figure it after then.
Yeah. He's like, deal with this now.
Yeah.
But you were already like, let's go to plan B. What's the next plan?
So come on, let's do this. Cause I don't have time. I'm like, let's just do it all. Like I'm in it, you know, like I'm not gonna, you know, this is not gonna throw me down. Like, are you kidding me? I have a lot of life to live. Like, this is not gonna break me. Right. So I was actually very lucky because, well, actually before that, they found activity in my lung and liver. So they found cancerous cells. The doctor said radiation stays in your body for 6 months. So radiation could possibly, what is it called? Kill the cancerous cells, and then you're good to go. Mm-hmm. If not, then we'll figure something else out. I was lucky, Mary, that the radiation did what it needed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So you only took one treatment?
Yeah. It's only one pill.
One, and that's it.
That was it. Mm-hmm.
And then, so when you did your follow-up, so you started the radiation. When was your next follow-up?
I want to say, I can't remember because it was a while ago. Maybe like, so right after I did it, I think it may have been a few weeks in between. And then it was, so the doctor literally said, get very familiar with me because I'm going to be your doctor for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to have you under observation for 10 years. He goes, the longer you go where the markers indicate that there's no traces of cancer, then, you know, the better the chances are. But he was very clear with me. He said, look, Liz, you're young. He's like, you're young. There's a lot of room for a lot of things to happen. Only because it happens once doesn't mean it can't come back. So you need to be in a good space where if it does come back, right, you need to be able to just fight it off like you have been now. So my question was, what do I need to do for that? You just need to be healthy. And I said, what do I need to do to be healthy? He said, eat healthy, work out. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm just going to have to do it then.
Yeah. So now you went back to your follow-up. Yeah. Did they see changes in your follow-up?
Yeah. So they noticed that my markers were getting lower and lower, meaning that there was no traces of cancer, right? So the radiation worked, but that didn't mean that it wasn't going to come back.
Correct.
Right. So it was every 3 months, then it was every 6 months, and then it was once a year.
Yeah. And how do you feel when you're going to these appointments? Are you nervous?
You know what? Sometimes I am because I'm like, here I go. I have to do this again, right? But then sometimes I go and I see people who have advanced cancer and I see how they're really sick. And I always remind myself, like, you should be grateful, mm-hmm. right? You should be grateful that you woke up today, that you're alive, that you have the best family ever. I cannot overly emphasize how amazing my family and my friends have been. Like, I don't even think you understand, like, they're just amazing. But also another thing that was a big deal for me, Mary, is I have a scar on my neck. And a lot of people are like, you can't even see it. But I feel like some people like just stare at it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh God, I'm waiting for the question, you know, like just ask away. And then sometimes like, and I never put it on social media, you know, I never, mm-hmm. you know, because I feel like I just feel like maybe I haven't dealt with it yet. Or I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know.
It's a lot. It's a serious, subject to talk about, so everyone deals with it differently. There's mm-hmm. no right or wrong. You do what's best for your survival. And it seems like the fact that you were willing to change your lifestyle, eat healthy and work out, I see her, you guys, I see her working out all the time, every fucking day. Like, that's why I was like, every time I would be like, I respect her. She's been through shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And to see you, I had no idea. You know what I mean? So now here you are. Your markers are coming down. Yeah. How did you, what were the first changes you started as far as eating healthy and working out?
So working out, I feel like when you're young, right? When you're younger, you work out so you could eat, obviously drink, right? Let's just do it all. Like, hey, I would go to the gym in the morning or take a class or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so what am I having for breakfast? Right. Mm-hmm. That was like my mentality. Like I'm working out my mentality switched from, I'm working out to eat whatever the hell I want to, I'm working out because I refuse to die. I'm not going to die. No way, no how am I going to ever put my family through this or myself. I was like, no. So I said, okay, working out, right? Let's do it, right? So I started noticing how it started changing my body, my attitude, my personality, how I started meeting people. And then I said, okay, so what's the next step? The eating. I was like, oh God, okay.
This is going to be hard.
Oh my God. Because, you know, I love cheese.
Yeah.
I want cheese, all kind of cheeses. Like I like the Gouda cheese, like we call it in Mexico, the one that stinks like feet, the pata cheese. Like I like it all, right, Mary?
I hate that word.
Right? But that's what people call it, right? The cheese
Yeah.
the one that smells really, like I liked it all. And I was a milk drinker. Like my mom was like, you know, for your bones and milk and milk, milk, milk.
Yeah, but they have a lot of hormones.
It's,
Yeah.
you know, I don't try to tell people what to eat or what to do.
Yeah.
You do whatever works for you. So when I started working out, I had a trainer, and my trainer was like, I told him, hey, like, why is it that I could do all these amazing things, but I still have a muffin top? Like, how do I get rid of it? And he's like, it's what you eat. And I was like, what do you mean what I eat? He's like, I'm eating everything you're asking me to eat. He's like, yes. He's like, but have you tried going vegan? And I was like, nope. I said, don't even tell me, because it's not going to happen. Like, no. And he's like, Liz, you should just try it. Do it for a week. I was like, no, like, I'm not going to go vegan. Like, that is an unrealistic expectation. Like, that's not going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
So then he goes, okay, just give up dairy and red meat. I said, all right, we could do that. I did it, and I lost 4 pounds the first week.
Yeah.
And I was feeling more energized, right? I go to my doctor, endocrinologist, right? Dr. Fernandez. I love him. He's amazing. And he goes, Liz, so what are you getting into now? And I said, well, doctor, I said, I gave up dairy and red meat. And he goes, what? He was like, you know what? He goes, my wife and I are vegan. He goes, and that's the best thing you could do for your body. I said, really? He's like, yeah. So I just gave it up, Mary. I went cold turkey. No In-N-Out burgers.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I love In-N-Out.
Yeah.
No milk, no nothing.
Yeah.
And it's been about 3 years. So right now it's like I said, autopilot now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You're used to it.
yeah.
And that's one of the things that, you know, I tell people is whether it's for weight loss or whatever, your stomach is a smooth muscle, so it shrinks. It should be as big. If you guys close your fist,
Yeah.
that's how big your stomach should be. And
Yeah.
it's like stretchy pants. They stretch. So the more we eat, the more we fill up, you know, it stretches. So it seems like it takes us longer to get full.
Yeah.
But if you give your stomach time to adjust, it will adjust. And, you know, so it's like you said, you're on autopilot because your stomach is used to it now.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we don't allow ourselves that. And I'm speaking for myself too. We
Yeah.
don't, you know, like the whole cold turkey thing. We don't know. It's temporary. Those cravings or
Yeah.
feeling down as your body adjusts. Give yourself a week, 2 weeks, and your body adjusts.
Yeah.
You know, obviously don't starve yourself. That's not at all what I'm saying.
No.
I'm just saying that, you know, if we're used to eating so much of everything, your body does go through kind of like a little detox. And so you're going to feel those like downers.
Yeah.
Just give it time, be patient, but your body will adjust. Our body adjusts. Our body's amazing.
Yeah.
If we're good to it, you know, and again, I'm not fully good to mine all the time, you know what I mean? But, yeah, and so now you're used to it. You're on autopilot.
Yeah. And I love it. And like I said, family, big thing. If I go to my boyfriend's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
His sister, his mom, and his other siblings, my brother-in-law's wife, like they're all on it. They'll literally, if the other day my boyfriend's mom made, what is it? She made, I think she was trying to make us something to eat. And she was like, well, I only have bacon and like tortillas and cheese or whatever. Right. My mother-in-law was like, oh, here you go. I made you like un taco de turkey. Like they're really good to me. Or if I go with my brother or my mom, my brother's like, hey, I have carne asada, but you know what? I got you sushi. Like, so they're like amazing. And they kind of hop on the bandwagon. Yeah. They're just like, hey, Liz, they'll tell me, hey, I bought this or I bought that. Like, they're so good to me. I can't even, honestly, I'm blessed. And I feel like a support system has a lot to do with it. So even when I go out, even my friends, they're like, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Do you recommend this? Do you recommend that? So honestly, that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I always tell people, they support my insanity.
Yeah.
Cause some people feel like, do it. I had someone tell me the other day, girl, you're always at the gym. And I said, correction. I'm not always at the gym. I go to the gym every morning, Monday through Saturday. I go at 5 a.m. for an hour and I stay an extra 30 minutes for cardio. And that's it. I don't double up. I don't make myself miserable. I do it because I love it, you know, and it has to be something that's obtainable to you, like something that you could just kind of do it on a regular basis.
Yeah. Do what's best for you. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. All the time. Because you can't, you know, what works for me may not work for you.
Exactly.
And I'm always like, I don't know if you, I'm super motivated. I'm always happy every morning. I always encourage people. I always tell people, if you need help, ask me, like I'm down, you know, like, so I'm here, like, ask me. I've done a lot of research all these years, you know?
Yeah. So now that do you feel, looking back, that the diagnosis brought your family and friends closer together? Do you think, or?
You know what? We've always been really close, but I feel like, at least on my end, it reassured me that I don't ever have to go through anything alone.
Wow. That's powerful.
It really is, because, I don't know, like, I just feel like, you know, people love you, but when you go through something like this, you feel like they really, really love me. You know?
Validated.
Yeah. Not that I feel like we need validation, but let's be honest, we need validation, right? So yeah. And I feel like, I just, honestly, it's a blessing to me, because, it could have happened to anybody else, right, Mary? Like, and I always tell myself, there's a reason why it happened to me, right? Because God knew. And I'm not like super religious, right? I'm not trying to, but God knew, hey, Liz, it sounds like a cliche, but hey, Liz, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in front of you. Let me see what you do with it, because I know you're strong enough to be able to, you know, overcome that situation. So yeah, like, I feel like, really, #family, like, BS you not, and friends, because your friends become your family.
Yeah.
Like, my friends, my besties, they're my sisters, they're my family.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way, like I told them I was gonna come on your podcast, and they're like, super supportive. I could show you my phone right now, how many of them have texted me, is it on? Guy friends, girlfriends, like my family members. Like, when I even had to explain it to my mom, because my mom doesn't know what it is, and she was like super excited about it.
Yeah.
And she's like, send me a picture of your friend Mary, I think I remember her. So I had to send her a picture so she could see who you were.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, do you feel like, so you were always kind of like positive, but do you feel, what has changed as far as your outlook in life, having gone through this whole process, and the fact that you're still going to have to get checked up, you know, what do you feel, what gifts do you think it gave you for your spirituality, your love for yourself and love for your family? Did it change anything as far as appreciation? I'm not even sure if I'm wording what I'm trying to ask you correctly, but do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Obviously cancer is not, it's not a blessing, but I'm sure it's made you maybe a better person.
Yeah.
Having gone through all this, what has changed in the core of your persona?
You know what, Mary? I always, like, I'm loud, right? I'm sure I annoy people. I have a sailor's mouth. Like, you know, I am
potty mouth.
Girl, I am like inappropriate sometimes, I'm sure. But this is me. Like, I've learned to love myself, and the people who are around me love me for me. Right.
Yeah.
And if I'm not right, if they feel like I'm stepping out of line, they will check me on it. And I love you for that.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me I'm right all the time. Let me know, you know? So I feel like through this process, I've learned to love Liz.
Yourself.
I've learned to love my family. I've learned to love my friends. But it's a hard thing to go through, you know?
Yeah.
Because people did stop calling. People did stop texting, right? Because everybody has a life, right? The fact that Liz got diagnosed with thyroid cancer at the age of 31 or whatever, other people's life isn't going to stop because, right? Like, this is my life. I need to learn how to deal with it on my own and just come out a fighter. Like, you know, like, I don't know. So it has, obviously it's changed for the positive.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just makes me a happier person. And I know my happiness sometimes annoys people. But I mean, what is there not to be happy about, you know?
You wake up every morning.
Every morning at 4:15, Mary.
Oh my God, that's early. I'm like snoring.
But you know what? And I always tell people, do whatever works for you. If it makes you happy, why not? Who cares if people judge you? I'm sure people
be true to yourself is what you learn.
That's the best thing to come out of it. So I feel like, dude, like, I'm a survivor. Like, this is where I'm at. You came into this at the perfect time. I hadn't spoken to you since high school, Mary. Like, right?
Yeah, we would speak on like social media, but it was like, you know, messages on our stories. And so, so I was very blessed that when I asked you, I was like, oh my God, you're going to tattoo with your mom, you know, like for you to share that with me. This was last year, I think. Yeah. And then I just kept seeing you work out and I was like, damn, this bitch has been through a lot. Like my hat goes off to you. But explain to us. So you got a tattoo with your mom. So what's the story behind that now?
Okay. So I don't know. I'm Mexican, right? My parents are Mexican. There's this thing that in Mexico, I don't know in other cultures or whatever, it's called Amanda. Where you promise God or the Virgin Mary or wherever saint you pray to, if this person comes out of this alive or whatever situation they're going through, this is what I'll do for you. So it's like you making a promise to God or the Virgin Mary or whatever. So my mom told me that in her desperation, she didn't want me to die or whatever.
She was having a hard time.
Yeah, she was having a hard time dealing with it, processing it. She said that she said, you know what? I'll do whatever Liz wants me to do as long as she comes out of it alive. I'll even get that ridiculous tattoo with her that she's been asking me for years.
So were you asking her for this tattoo before your diagnosis?
Yes, like I just been, Mom, let's get a tattoo. And she was like, oh no, I'm too old for this. Like, come on, I'm going to look ridiculous. Right. And so my brother tried to convince her because, you know, my mom's old school Mexican, which is crazy because we're all tatted up. Right. My little brother, my middle brother, like, we're all tatted up.
My mom tells us my body's a temple. I'm not messing with she does that.
Yeah.
It's like everyone we know has them, but go ahead.
So my mom's the same way. Yeah. So when I told her I would ask her all the time. She's like, just give me some time. Just give me, espérate. Just give me some time. Right. So finally, when I hit the 5-year mark, I said, okay, Mom, that's enough. Ya estuvo suave. Like, we need to go get this tattoo done. And she's like, let's just get like a ladybug. And I was like, what's the meaning behind the ladybug? And she was trying to get it like in this hidden place. Like, I'm like, she wants to get it on her toe or something. Like, she just doesn't want to show it off, right?
Yeah.
So I found a tattoo that I thought would be good for us.
Do you mind sharing?
No, it's we both have it on our wrist and it says siempre contigo, always with you. So that means I'm always with her and she's always with me.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry. I'm a baby crier.
No. And so when she saw it, I was like, Mom, are you down? And she was like, she actually said, I really like it. And it's single needle. And so she was like, okay, let's do it. So I paid for it and I told her, Mom, I gave the deposit. You can't rank out. Mary, she was so nervous. She was like sweating. She was like, I'm going to pass out. And I was like, I'll get it done first. I said, you're going to see how simple it is. I said, because I have other tattoos or whatever. So she got it done and we both have it. And, you know, it's the best thing ever. I feel like it bonds us together. Actually, it was going to be my brother as well. But he was like, that is not a tattoo I could get with you guys. That is so feminine. But
how funny.
But he has a thyroid cancer ribbon tattoo on his I think it's on his bicep.
That's very sweet of him.
It is.
Yeah. So now you're at the tattoo place. She's finished. What were the emotions that your mom had at that point?
I think she was still in disbelief, Mary. I think she was like, please, Jesus, let this be a dream. Like, did I just not get a tattoo in my 50s?
Yeah.
Because my mom turned 60 this year. And so was what? She was 55? She was like, I'm too old for this. Like, what do people... I was like, who cares? This is what we're going to do together. It's for us. So I feel like after that, we went to go eat. Like, we were all happy. Like, one of my friends came with me, my friend Betty, that I've known since I was in high school. She came with me. My brother came with me. My sister and my brother's wife came with me. My mom's roommate back then. So we're all like breaking bread like it was normal. And her friend was like, it looks so cute. And my mom was all hyped up and happy about it.
The adrenaline that comes after a tattoo.
Yeah, she was excited. And then every day she was like calling me, am I taking care of it right? Am I taking care of it right? What do I put on it, right? So then it just kind of became like the normal thing. Like so now we have matching tattoos.
Yeah. And she doesn't regret it.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you'll have to ask her and get back to us.
Yeah, I will ask her. I was like, Mom, did you regret the tattoo? She's probably like, but she did ask. She was like, how do I do it if I want to take it off? I'm like, Mom, you can't. You're going to have to cut off your skin.
Yeah. Well, and you know, that to me is a beautiful story, you know, because it's like she was willing to, like, her belief was she was anti it, but for you, for the love of her daughter, who's been through it, right, was like, I'm gonna do it.
And that kind of solidified you don't know what it feels like because you don't have kids. I'm your mom. You get me? Like, I know what I feel like you going through this. So it was like, okay, mom, next time something happens, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And then I have a niece. I have a 9-year-old niece, right? And she's always because I go to the gym all the time, and my brother's always like, dude, you're buff or whatever. And so my niece is like a few weeks ago we went to San Diego, and I was like, Poops, I call her Poops. I was like, Poops, let me see your muscles. And I was like, ooh, baby, you're strong. And she's like 9 years old. Okay, she goes, Tia Lisa, it's because we're tiny. Everybody always underestimates us.
Oh my God. Yes, girl.
And she's 9. I was like, baby, do you know what underestimate means? She's like, yeah, I learned it in school. And I was like, okay, girl, then you know. So you get me? Like, she always, because my niece is tiny. She's real thin, skinny, you know, so it feels good. Like, I don't know, Mary.
And your brother, he decided on his own to get the tattoo? Did he tell you?
Nope, he didn't. He got a tattoo and said, hey, sis, I have a surprise for you. And boom, on the bicep.
What did you feel?
I started crying.
Oh,
I did.
Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God.
It is, yeah. Because my brother and I are really tight, you know?
Yeah.
I started, and then, so yeah, I was super blessed. I'm telling you, like, I feel like I'm 37, Mary, and I can honestly tell you, I'm like in the best place of my life with the people that are in my life. I'm blessed. Like, my circles, I'm very friendly. I always know somebody. My friends will tell you, I always know somebody. But like the friends that I do have and the family and where I'm at with like my relationship with my boyfriend and his family and his sister, actually went to Bishop, which is the school that we went to.
Yes, I was about to say Bishop is the high school that we went to. All girls school.
All girls school, right?
Yeah.
I've known her since she was a kid. She's like been super supportive as well. So I'm lucky, you know, I'm lucky with the people in my life, my friends. You need to meet my friends, Mary.
Yes. Set it up. I'm there. I'll bring my podcast stuff. I have several mics.
They're the bestest. And I have a lot of friends, but
your
friends, like sisters that are, there's only a few.
Yeah.
And they're the most amazing in the world.
Yeah.
And they know who they are.
Yeah.
They know who they are.
Yeah. You let them know, right?
Oh no, they know who they are. I've known some of them since I was 17, and then through Betty, I met like Sonia, Aida, Sandra, and then through my gym experience, then I met Ruth and Cynthia, and then, you know,
and it's hard experiences, whether it's this or other experiences in our life, really solidify who our true family is. Yeah. You know, because those people that are there and are supportive are the ones you want to keep around. Yeah. What advice would you say now that you've been through all this, and, you know, obviously this changed your life, and, you know, you're going to still have to get checked, for someone who maybe knows someone who was just diagnosed, or someone who has a diagnosis of cancer? You're speaking to them now. Like, what advice do you have for them?
Honestly, just stay positive. I know people say it all the time, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Like, there's a reason why things happen. I know we don't want to hear that. Just be positive, you know, have a positive outlook on life. Don't let anybody dim your light. Like, don't let if I could tell you how many people have told me, like, you're just too much to handle, because I'm just way too happy for some people, or I'm way too energetic for some people. But guess what? I don't care. The people that love me love that I am like that. And when I'm being too much or extra, they'll let me know, like, hey, you need to like pump your brakes because you're doing a little too much. Mm-hmm. But I feel like you just keep pushing, you know, just do what makes you happy. Everybody handles situations differently, you know, and if you ever need any type of advice, or you need somebody to hear you out, by all means, feel free to contact me and tell me, hey, Liz, how did you deal with this? And I will tell you my experience. Are you going to have good days? Absolutely. Are you going to have bad days? Absolutely. Are there going to be days where you're going to question yourself and the decisions you made? All the time. But I feel like that's human nature. You get me? Yeah. So, but that's part of life. That's part of living, and that's part of living your best life, because this is your story. And cancer is, I go through situations in life, you know, I've gone through heartbreak, through a lot of stuff. And then I always tell myself, if cancer didn't kill me, this is definitely not going to kill me. Absolutely not. You know, if I have to wake up at 4:15 every morning, right, to go to the gym, then that's what I'm going to do, because that's what works for me.
Yeah. And you made that promise to yourself that you were going to do that.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah. But once again, it goes back to the support system.
Yeah.
You know, they're good to me. Like, I can't, how can I give up on myself when all these people in my life have not given up on me?
Wow. That's emotional right there.
And I'm not easy, girl. I was like, I'm not an easy person to handle sometimes, you know, especially with what I do for work. It's a lot. Like, sometimes it's like there's good days and bad days. And I will say that I also have co-workers that are very understanding and help me get through certain experiences in life. And then I've had trainers who have been super good to me and positive, and they give me such great advice. And then just my gym family, like, I'm blessed, girl, like all the way around. Yeah. I do have bad days though. There's days where I'm just like, oh Lord, why? Yeah. You know, and then I have everybody else's fur babies too. Yeah. Cause you know how you like dogs and cats? Yes. I'm not a lover like that, Mary, but everybody I know has cats and dogs.
Yeah. Oh, look, that's my dog that yes, I was telling her we were having brunch or breakfast beforehand, but yeah, I carry my dog who died years ago, but I have a picture in my place of him because he's my greatest love. Oh, my papas. His name was Cody. But Cody? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't have animals, but my brother has one. My mom has one.
They're family too.
Girl, they are family. And then they have them my sister-in-law has like a cat and a dog, and it's crazy. Like, I'm telling you, like, everybody I know has animals, and I'm just like, I like being a tia to all the pets, right? Just everybody gets to keep them. Yeah. Right. Aww. And then I also my boyfriend's best friend, they have kids, and she was like, I'm thinking about getting a dog. And I'm like, girl, you go do your thing. I was like, but not for me. And she starts laughing because she was like, I didn't want animals either. And I'm like, girl, you do your thing, get them, you know? So I love all my family members' dogs and cats and all their kids. I like being, like you said earlier, I'm going to be the best tia. Yes.
Well, anything else you might want to tell the listeners?
No, thank you for listening to me. I could ramble on. So thank you for having me, Mary. I appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to share my story, to open up. It's been a struggle to talk about it. I never posted on social media. I never really openly talked to people about it. I've had people know me for years and never know what I've went through. But I feel like this has been really good for me. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to talk to you and put it out there. Hopefully somebody got something from it, you know, and I hope that people understand that it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to have a struggle, but it's how you come out of it that matters. Yeah. And you're always going to be your biggest cheerleader. You know, nobody's going to cheer you on the way you do. Yeah. So
always, it's hard to, and I'm sure when a diagnosis like that comes on, depression comes in, you know. Yeah. And so it's I mean, you to me seem like such a strong person, because if I'm honest, I don't know that I would react the same way you did. Yeah. But you know, definitely, I had said I had a tough year last year, and just being positive and thinking positive, even if it's hard and you're tricking yourself to being positive, it goes a long way. So I'm very happy to see that you have come the other side, and of course it can always come back and stuff, but the fact that you have such positive attitude about it to me is amazing. And then to see you working out every day is just, to me, is amazing. I mean, I admire you and, you know, look up to you for that, because I myself do believe that I would have not had reacted the way that you have. And so it's almost like you're a role model in that sense, because sometimes some of us are a little bit more sensitive and vulnerable than others. Yeah. And I'm putting myself out there right now. So definitely, you know, I look up to you for that, and I really do. And so I appreciate you taking the time to talk about it, you know, because you could be helping either me or someone else, or, you know, someone, it might resonate with someone. And so thank you again for being on and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. So, you know, here I am for anything else that you need.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you guys for listening. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
That was episode 56 of the Purposely Curious podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on most podcast platforms, and follow us on social media at Purposely Curious on Instagram and at Purposely C Pod on Twitter. That's Purposely, the letter C, Pod. Until next time, you know what to do.